My name is Lawrie Hollingsworth, and I am an electrical engineer and certified disaster recovery planner. I am the CEO and founder of two engineering firms, the Price Hollingsworth Company and Asset Recovery Technologies. They are headquartered in suburban Chicago area of Elk Grove Village, and both firms work nationwide with insurance companies and businesses after disaster or property insurance loss. PHC employs 4 people, including 3 engineers, and ART employs 8 people. We add part-time and temporary help as needed up to another 20 people. In addition, we have a certified pool of approximately 200 technicians nationwide. Both firms are 100% owned and founded by me and are certified women's business enterprises. I founded PHC in 1987 and ART in 1994. I've never asked for nor received government handouts. I started my businesses on a shoestring and funded them by reinvestment of profits and conventional bank loans. In addition to being a responder to 9/11, we were also active on the disaster response to Hurricane Katrina. Both businesses are typical small businesses. We utilize bank loans, line of credit loans, and credit cards to fund our business, in addition to reinvestment of profits. My employees are very hardworking, decent, honest Americans with family support. Like all small and large businesses, this credit crunch affects us substantially. Money is simply less available. When it is available, it is at a new premium cost for less money and more restrictive lending covenants. In 2007, our sales declined by approximately 50% over 2006. Most others in my industry, the disaster recovery industry, have reported similar dramatic drops across the board. While fluctuation is the norm in the disaster recovery business, in part due to weather patterns, I believe this drop in revenue was due in part to soaring interest rates and lack of credit. This is particularly likely as weather patterns for both years were similar. Something has to account for such a precipitous decline. When businesses are already operating in thin and vanishing profit margins, any sort of disaster will put them under. As will be discussed further in my testimony, businesses seeking working capital and equipment loans from a bank to rebuild after disaster may simply find credit unavailable, insufficient, or just too expensive. Faced with looming business failures, most businesses opt to take the money and run and close their doors. They do not reinvest these insurance seeds back into the business. This is one more sale of services I do not make and one more business failure in America. Alternately, businesses may have chosen to substantially underinsure themselves to save costs currently, a measure almost guaranteeing their eventual failure in the face of a disaster, by the way. Thus, there's not enough money for rebuilding after disaster, which requires hiring a firm like us, and we also lose revenue. I also believe that the current credit crunch presents a significant drawback to available money for startups. We are focusing today on the impact of currently existing small business to some degree, but I believe there's a second substantial and somewhat obscured impact of the tightened credit markets. This hidden danger is a lost opportunity for small business startups. Small business is the largest private sector employer in the U.S. The heart of small business, and is my opinion the American dream, is the business startup. From the mom-and-pop endeavors to the technology firms, these are the lifeblood of our nations. Startups are funded by savings, 401ks, gifts and loans from friends and relatives, and the occasional governmental source, home equity loans, equipment loans, collateral-based working capital bank loans, and credit card debt. The statistics on small business failure in general are already severe. Failure rates of over 50% in the first 2 years are often cited. Already started on a shoestring and usually underfunded, these small businesses depend on debt and credit to open their doors and thrive. What is happening now is that debt funding for new ventures is simply disappearing. This is in no small part due to the subprime mortgage collapse. Lenders are very nervous about home equity lending, often substantially reducing available loan size. I'd like to touch quickly on a second disaster I believe that's being exacerbated by the tight credit markets, and that is rebuilding after any type of disaster, notably things like Hurricane Katrina. The U.S. Department of Labor estimates over 40% of businesses never reopen following disaster. Of the remaining, 25% will close their doors within 2 years. Over 60% of all businesses confronted by a major disaster will close within 2 years. How much will these statistics worsen? I believe this credit crunch is greatly impacting the ability of businesses to rebuild and reestablish themselves after Katrina. I'm a native Floridian and University of Florida graduate, so near and dear to my heart is the rebuilding of Florida businesses. I have seen many areas in disaster after hurricanes and so forth, and I believe the credit crunch is significantly impacting the ability for businesses to rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. It will impact areas such as Florida for small business to reestablish themselves. This concludes my testimony. Thank you.